he hasn't asked you out within a week, you need to drop it. If you are not in a committed relationship within 2.5 to 3 months, you need to drop it.
Ooh.
If you are not engaged or married within 2 years, you need to drop it.
These are very short numbers to me. I think that the 2 years, in my opinion, seems to be an age thing. If I was 26, 27, and someone was ready to marry me in 2 years, I'd be like, oh, have we really experienced more yet? Are we in a financial place for marriage?
A man knows pretty quickly. I get at least 3 or 4 women into relationships every week. I have an engagement every month. What I will tell you is this. He knows probably within the first 6 months. And then after that, he is saving for a ring and a wedding. I literally have 5 men that are doing it for my clients right now.
Wolf told me once, Wolf's our engineer here, you told me a year
to make someone your girlfriend.
And you're saying 2 to 3 months.
Let me answer that. And this is why it's important for women to have boundaries. You shouldn't be waiting a year. Whoever knows that you are it will make it happen.
So this gentleman is accurate again in his statement of how long it takes a man to want a relationship or marriage. And to preface this, I'm talking about people over the age of 25, give or take, really over the age of 30 when we're talking about marriage, but definitely over the age of 25. When a man really likes you, he's typically asking you out on a date within the first 2 weeks. He's asking you, yo, what you trying to do? He's trying to make plans within the first 2 weeks to have your number. That is generally what guys are trying to do when they really like you. Again, if you live in the vicinity of each other. When y'all live far away from each other, obviously that's a little more difficult, etc., etc. So it takes a little more planning and so on and so forth. But generally when a guy, even then, if he's trying to see you and y'all live a fair amount of distance away, he talking about flying you out, or etc., etc., etc. For example, I live on the West Coast. So if I was talking or dating a girl from the East Coast, I'd be talking about flying her out. Granted, that takes a little more safety and humility and all that other good stuff. But that's generally the conversation that would be had if I really liked a chick that lived on the East Coast. Or hell, even if she lived in San Francisco or Colorado or something like that. It's generally what I'd be talking about. Now, in the vicinity of me, I'm talking about in the first 2 weeks. And I'm the type of guy, if no plans are made in the first 2 weeks, you not interested either. Or at least a reciprocal type of nature. Like, hey, you trying to do this way? Nah, I gotta work. Hey, you trying to do this? Nah, I gotta work, but I'm off this day. And then it becomes like a negotiation type of deal. Like, okay, what day can you hang out? What day can you can't? No issue. Everybody's cool with that. The other thing is, it don't take no man no 5-6 years to want to get married to you, bruh. Telling you ladies, it don't take that long. It just don't. Men know. Men know within a year. And I'm talking about, let's say you started dating in June. By next June, he knows if he wants to marry you or not. He may not say it, but by next June, for sure, he knows. Maybe till, if we're talking about from June 2024 to June 2025, maybe to December, but he knows. And he particularly looking to propose, etc. and so forth by that time period. So just taking 6-7 years to propose or whatnot, unless y'all have that understanding where y'all don't want to be married, y'all just want to be these committed partners, that man know he want to marry you within that time frame. It also don't take that long for a relationship. Now, dude said 2 to 3 months. I'm not going to say 2 to 3 months. I'm going to say 3 to 6. That's a little more accurate because especially with all the stuff that's going on and time and people busy and all that other stuff. So stuff take a little more time to get to know each other, on top of the fact that, let's just be honest, most of us have to wean off or take care of those situationships that we might be in before we get committed with someone else. So I'll say 3 to 6 months when a guy's really interested in you. But you women who like to wait 4 weeks to go out on a date with a guy that lives 10 miles away from you, 8 months before he's talking about a relationship, 5 years before marriage, you are playing yourself and you are doing yourself a disservice. You got to remind yourself, ladies, you only have but a finite time to have kids, healthy kids, and when you're quote unquote prime when men want to marry you. It's not my line of thinking. It's not what I believe. It's just a general scope of what's being said in societal differences. The 45-year-old, generally speaking, is not looked at as like the 22-year-old. Time is not on y'all side. I don't know why y'all think it is or what perception gives y'all that, but it's definitely not. And then kids, we know kids is just biology. That's out of everybody's control. Yes, you probably can delay that with diet and exercise, but time is time. Time is undefeated. So, like I said, you ladies waiting all this time for these men to do this, men to do that, they ain't doing it within these time frames, they don't really want to do it. Like I said, this is really for people over the age of 30. When you in your 20s and whatnot, you kind of still trying to figure yourself out. So you don't really, not saying later on in life you're not trying to do that too, but you really are trying to figure yourself out in your 20s. When you're 30, 35 and whatnot and all that, you kind of more established, got a little groundwork for a foundation to build something. So don't waste your time on men who really not serious about you, ladies.